Okay. We should hopefully be good. Now, I'm gonna give it a minute, let people get up in there first before I make a move. Oh. Can you hear me, JPA? What's up, man? So hopefully you can hear me. Share this out. Share this out. Okay. And just I'm gonna give it a minute. I'm gonna give it to like that 5-minute mark like I typically do. You can hear me fine? Cool. We got 3 people up in there. Alright, that's lit. Share this out, bro. If you can. That meaning on Twitter or something. I don't know. Just something. I'm gonna give it to maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll get rolling. I don't like just doing it and then barely anyone's in, so then I gotta go back and repeat myself. So just like YouTube with the premieres, I'm gonna give people a little bit of time to get up in there. There you go. Anyways, somebody gonna do? Oh, copy. No. Now we got no one in here. Well, this is shame. Yeah, depending on what we're at by 3 minutes, I'm just gonna say in 1 minute, I'm just gonna start just talking there. In 1 minute, I'm just gonna start talking. Then people jump in when they jump in, and they don't, then they don't. Hello to whoever just jumped in. It may just be fine the way it turns out, man. Anyway. There's barely anybody in there. JPA, if anyone is actually in here, 20 seconds and we're just gonna start talking. I kinda wanted this to be alright. About 10 seconds and then we'll be off and running. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're just gonna keep going then. Anyways, what is up? It's your boy JNW Boss in the building, and yes, this is a Universe Mode tip specifically on putting together a match, because fun fact, I was actually supposed to do a video about this back in October, but then real life stuff got in the way, and so I was unable to do it. Now I know some of you guys are saying, oh wait, didn't Cole just do a live stream thing? Yes, he did, but his was broad, mine is a bit narrow, and like I said, I should have put this out back in October. So J-Dog actually recommended that I talk about this one. Speaking of which, he just jumped online on PlayStation right now. Ain't that funny? Anyway, so J-Dog actually recommended I talk about this one, and I would have did a regular video, but the struggle with doing a regular video about it is there are so many stories you can tell. Like, there are so many stories you can tell, it would be difficult for me to talk about it in a regular video and to narrow it down small enough, or to cover everything in just a particular time frame. So I'll have to be a live open discussion, so that way you guys can chime in and everything, and you guys can give your thoughts and your tips and your strategies and whatever you decide to do when it comes to putting together matches for your Universe Mode. For me, personally, when I'm doing my matches, I have 2 of these. Because I keep the AI far away from... What's up, Cole? What's up, Cole? Yes, I know you did a live earlier this week, but mine is a bit more narrow than yours as far as what I'm talking about. So I'm just saying again that I'm doing mine as a live because this topic is so broad that I felt like I couldn't cover it in a regular video. So I wanted to open it wide enough, and plus I want the ability for you guys to jump in and chime in whatever way, ask any questions or whatever. Your take. What I was saying was doing one of these. I have 2 controllers. Why? Because I personally don't let the AI touch my matches hardly at all. Unless I'm doing like a crazy multi-man match where I kind of don't care too much what happens during it, then I kind of I play it out myself. Because I feel like it's a more of a story if I play the match out myself. So, my personal take, if you are going to do a universe mode and do matches for universe mode, play the matches yourself. Now, they may not be 5-star classic when they first start out. When you first start out, they may not be 5-star classic because I've had matches that if I go back and watch now, I'm like, I thought that match was good back then? Sheesh. I'll be like, wait a second, I thought this match was actually good? Hold up. No, fam. A lot of your matches when you start out are going to be average at best. Probably average at best. Horrible at worst, but average at best. And then, of course, over time, you'll get good. You'll start learning stuff. You'll start learning how to put together stories and craft your own stories and things of that nature. So, for a simple, to me, I think the easiest one to tell, if you don't have like a particular story in mind, I always try to make mine an even content. I don't know if you know that, but I always try to make mine an even back and forth. I can attest to this match. Scripting can be really fun, but you gotta watch how you do it. Yeah. I mean, personally, I don't script mine. That's just me. Personally, I don't script mine. But if you do script yours, then that's fine. Like, if you have, like me personally, I think most I'll do, like, I'll have mentally in mind maybe how I want to start. Maybe I'll think, like, if I have like a cool spot I want to hit during the match, then I'll toss that in. Yo, what's up, Mark? Yeah, I thought you were fake for a minute. What's up, Mark? But usually if I'm doing a match, I usually have the beginning, how I want to start. I have maybe 1 or 2 spots I want to do during the match, and then probably a finish. Those are the 3 things I probably have when I'm doing a match. Everything else is free flow. Like, seriously, some of my endless spots were spots I just thought of on the fly as I was doing the match, and I said, "Oh, that's a cool idea. Let me go and do that," Or like I would be doing something and I would think about a move the other person had, be like, "Oh, let's do this. Let's try this. Let's see if it works." And then if it doesn't work, I have to go back and record the match again, sort of. I do that. Yeah, I do both. Sometimes the match be in my head, and if I go off of that script, sometimes depending on what yeah. Right, yeah, because, like, those are the typical, like, points that I have. Of, like, a beginning, maybe a spot or 2 in the middle that I want to hit, and then maybe an ending. Sometimes I don't even have that and just say, okay, we're just going to go with what flows naturally, and we're going to let it work. Because sometimes I notice, if I'm thinking about a match too hard, I'll start messing myself up. Like, I'll notice that. Like, sometimes if I think about a match too hard, then I'll mess myself up. Like, I will start botching, I will start missing moves, and it looked bad. And I'm like, wait, okay, let me calm down. Just let it come naturally to me. So that's that for me. When it, like, if I'm doing a match, for one, I say try to, if you are using 2 controllers for a match and you don't script yours, try to just let it come naturally to you. Let it come natural. Just kind of, not really, I guess you could say kind of go with emotion there. Like, go with what you think would be the next logical thing to do. And of course, by this point, you've been using these characters, I would hope, you were using these characters enough to kind of know what some of their key moves are and all that stuff. Now, if third was in here, I think this dude was talking to me. He's talking about like just going nuts with the scripting and stuff, and I'm gonna be like, bro, this is wildin'. If third gets in here, he can definitely give a take on like scripting matches specifically. Personally, have two controllers, and if you don't script your matches, which is fine if you don't, free flow it. Free flow with it. And the basics and an easy story to tell, if you don't have two, first if you don't have two controllers, get them. At least two. If you don't have two controllers, at least get them. But the simplest story to tell for me is a back and forth. Like, that's how a lot of my matches are, typically back and forth. And because it gets both guys over, both guys look great, and if you got the two right guys in there, it can make for a freaking classic. You know what I mean? If you got the right guys in there, it can make for a classic. But now let's mix it up. Let's say if you want to go with, I don't know, David versus Goliath here. Of course, make sure, now, hold on. People who are kind of pros at this, for people that kind of know how to work some of these stories. Hold on a second. We're going to come back later, getting lag since I'm just leaving school. Okay, alright, fair enough. For the people who are, I know this, okay, real quick, I know this video isn't going to reach everybody. Like Cole, he gets how to do this stuff. JPA, I'm pretty sure you know how to get this stuff, but this is like bare minimum don't know how to put a match together type of stuff here. This is like bare, you don't know what you're doing, you can't tell a headlock from a wrist lock type of stuff here. Because it was requested of me to do. Yeah, like general stuff, like putting together just a back and forth match, making sure both guys get their offense in. Maybe sometimes I do a near fall. Sometimes I'll do a near fall when I'm doing that type of match. Sometimes I'm doing a near, like I'll do a near fall. Like maybe if I have one person kick out the finisher, I'll have another person kick out of one. You know, just for the even Steven aspect of it. So just that. And I say if you're doing, and right, I would get into more specific ones. If you're doing David versus Goliath, I think it's clear. Of course, you want to have the big guy in control, but you also have to kind of ask the question of, okay, is this little guy going to actually get offense in? Is the little guy actually going to look good in this match? Is he actually going to win? Is he actually going to make something happen? Is he going to mess around and pull out a win? Is it going to be an upset? Is it going to be a close one? Is it going to be every time the smaller guys start getting the advantage, the big guys cutting them off? Is it going to be something like that? Now, to me, I think the hardest ones to do, the hardest type of story to tell in a match, because the game makes it hard for you to tell the story, injury. Right, it is hard to tell an injury story in these games. It really is, because unlike the older game, you don't see the person walking around just holding the part of their body that's hurt. You don't see that. You don't see them, holding their ribs, or you don't see them walking holding their head. So it's like, it's hard to tell those injury stories. But for me, personally, if I'm working an injury angle, I will first have the opponent mainly target that part of the body. I will have, the opponent constantly go to work on that part of the body, and here's where good commentary can come into play, because you can fill your audience in on why that person is feeling this way, why this person is hurt, why this person is, maybe not performing at the level that they would usually perform. Or if they have a leg injury, they go out to the apron, they're thinking about springboarding, haven't been fighting against to get back in the ring, and then continue to get the leg work on, or Or just something like that. I get it. It's hard to do because the game doesn't really help you at all. You kind of gotta suspend disbelief for about 5 minutes in order for that stuff to work. And that's why I think, really, pull back. That's why I think injury angles are kind of the hardest one to pull off because the game doesn't help you. So as far as preparation, instead of starting about Pacific Story, let's just talk about the whole preparation aspect. Ask yourself the following question: what is the purpose? What is the freaking purpose of the match? Like if you're putting the... Okay. Alright. Thought somebody commented or whatever. But before we even actually get to the match itself, preparation, the mental preparation that goes into it. If you're putting a match together on your card, the question is, what is the purpose? Why should we care? Is this guy going to be at a pay-per-view? If so, who is he facing? Is there going to be interference involved? What's the purpose behind you putting the match together? 2. I always answer this one. What is the person going to do next? Like that's the question that I personally ask myself. First off, what is the purpose of the match being there in the first place? Second, what do you have to plan for the person to do next after this match? Winner and or loser. Sometimes you may only be focused about the winner. And to me, I would ask the question, what are they going to do next? Because let me use a match for my own example here. I had A2J in a world title match against Darren. The match was thrown out via disqualification. Darren technically won via DQ. Here's why, in any other context, this match wouldn't have made sense. If I did not have planned to have A2J in that Elimination Chamber match, or if I didn't have planned to do some type of spin-off with Black and A2J or Black and Darren or whatever the deal, that match, honestly, in the long run, wouldn't have made any type of sense. It wouldn't have made any type of sense because it's like, okay, this dude messed around, had a world title match, now what? Had a world title match, lost. What's he going to do now? To go to the back of the line? Is that it? Is that really it for this guy? Is it really just going to be done and dusted like that for him? And then, of course, over time, if you keep putting that character in a particular spot where they're in a match and then you're thinking, okay, then what? What are you going to do now with them? Then, of course, over time, your audience is going to lose interest in that particular character because you keep putting him in what I like to call then what matches. You can argue I kind of did that with Andrew Land, sort of. I do have this trance of Land thing going on with him, so there you go. So I think if you're going to put him in a match, first off, why is the match happening? Second, where are both parties, or one of those parties, going to go from here? If it's just a regular match for the sake of having a match, then why should we care? If neither of these guys are going to be doing anything of relevance, why should we care? You get what I'm saying? Like, I've seen matches before in universe modes, and I'm like, okay, cool, that was a good match. That was good. That was fine for what it was. And then I follow up on the next couple of episodes, and then I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wait, what the heck did you do that match for in the first place? Like, why did you do that match if you clearly weren't going to really go anywhere with either one of the participants in the match? Now, I maybe understand if you kind of have a match and you say, oh, this is a tryout match for these two guys, or whatever. Or, you know, this is really just a leveraging match for these two guys. But then again, even if it is a leveraging match, you still want to have them, go somewhere after the match, or else you kind of really just wasted the audience's time with something that wasn't really noteworthy, something that wasn't really interesting, something that wasn't really logical. I hate seeing that. I really do. Like, we see WWE do it all the time. Like, an example, I think, Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns from Extreme Rules. Bobby wins the match. All right, cool. Thumbs up. What you freaking do? And then they mess around and then just have those two go one-on-one a couple of weeks later on Raw, in which Roman wins. And then, it's like, oh, well, Roman's now the number one contender. Then what the heck was the purpose of the match at Extreme Rules then? For instance. I've seen WWE do that so many times, and it like gets on my nerves. I'm like, okay, thanks. You kind of just wasted our time with doing the other match then. Especially if you were just going to use the match that you did this time around to further the angle and not the other one. So what was the purpose of the other match? You see how it doesn't make any sense now? You see how not having a match with any type of reasoning really does not do you or your show or the fans are going to be watching your show any good. So, to recap, preparation. That's how somebody commented. So to recap, so far, preparation and have a freaking purpose. Or what's the motive? And have a purpose. We both got it afterwards. I guess if I were to throw in a third thing, if I were to throw in a third, hold on a second, guys. I'll be right back. Hold on. I'll be right back, guys. Hold on a second. Okay. I'm back. Hello. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Y'all hear me? Is anyone still? I think we got 3 people here. Is anyone still here? Okay. Hopefully. Okay. I think we got 3 people watching. They're actually watching, or PlayStation lying to me, or YouTube lying to me as a whole. Anyway. Okay. So. Let me run back what I was saying. I'm not to say something else, but jog my own memory. Let me run back. First, purpose. What was the purpose of the match that happened? Second, really kind of then what? Like what are you gonna do from here? Like after, like who is this match really gonna benefit? Is this match gonna make any logical sense? Number 3, pacing. How is this match going to be paced? A lot of mental stuff goes into this. How is this match going to be paced? Is it going to be slow? Is it going to be fast? Is it number 3 is going to tie into number 4 perfectly? How is this match going to be paced? Is it going to be kind of a slow, more methodical type of approach, or are we just going in guns blazing? Which one is it? Which one is it? Is it gonna be a spot fest? Please don't let it be a spot fest. But if it's gonna be a spot fest, is that what it's gonna be? How are you gonna pace it? Is it gonna be slower, faster? Is it gonna be a little bit more maybe deliberate? Is it gonna be shorter? Is it gonna be longer? Because number 3 ties into number 4 perfectly. Okay. So you got all that stuff down. What's up, Dave? So you got all that stuff down. Before, where is this match going to fit on your show? The structure of it. Where is this match going to fit on your show? Is it, if it's co-main event, think about what's coming before and think about what's coming after it. That really will kind of help you out here. Probably your other matches, if you record in order, this can probably help you out with your other matches. Because you can think, okay, the previous match was about 15 to 20 minutes long, and it was, very back and forth, very fast paced, blah, 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 blah. So maybe you have a match in between, your buffer match. Maybe the match you're trying to figure out is your buffer match. Okay, you just had a match that went like 15, 20 minutes long, and you got another match that's probably about to mess around and go the same length, but you don't want to do it back to back, so you got your buffer match in the middle. And so maybe you say, I don't want to make it like the other one. I don't want to make this thing too complex. I don't want to get too crazy with the spots and whatever. So let's make this match maybe 10 minutes. 15 minutes top. And sometimes what I started doing, sometimes I do this, but I'll literally get a timer on my phone and time myself when the time the bell rings for 15 minutes. And I want to hit either around the 15-minute mark, or if I feel like I can wrap this thing up in less time than 15 minutes, then I'll do that. It's like, it sounds real stupid, but having a timer on certain matches can really help you out, because sometimes you'll really get in the zone and you'll just start going, and then you'll keep going and going and going, and then before you know it, your match is like 20 something minutes long on a match that really should have only been like 10 to 15. Or maybe your match is 20, pushing 30, 25, close to 30 minutes long on a match that really should have been only 20 minutes. Or sometimes I've had this happen where I'm just going so quick that I don't realize that, dude, you've only been going for 10 minutes. And so sometimes I'm like, okay, let me redo that. Let me go back. Let me redo that match. Let me slow down a bit. Let me control myself. Let me pace myself a little better here. Here's where pacing can come into play. Let me control myself. Let me pace myself a little bit better because I know the next match after this, I want to take off flying. Or I know the next match after this is going to be kind of a slow one. You know what I mean? So that's where, you know, your structure of the match on the show, because not every match has to be 20 minutes long. Not every match people need to be kicking out of finishers. If you're doing an Extreme Rules match, especially if you got more of these on one show, not everybody has to get killed in each match. You can have one match be a little bit tamer than the other. Like Armageddon kicked off with a TLC match. It was crazy, it was wild, we did some nut stuff. But then I knew the 3 Stages of Hell match were going to be at the end of the show. So I kept those 2 matches as far away from each other as possible. So that way, at least when it comes to like extreme spots and whatever, people can get a little bit of a breather. Which is why the next match between Wolf and Black was more of a technical brawl, I guess. It was more of a technical brawl, if that makes sense. And then we start getting towards the middle of the show. We got Nate Shields and Dwayne Frog versus Weapon of Mass Destruction. To me, that was probably the slowest match of the night. It was the slowest paced match of the whole night. Personally. So, where's your match going to structure? Where's the match going to structure at? And then finally, when you have all of that done, I kind of flew through this in 30 minutes. I didn't think I would, but okay. When you have all of that done, go back and watch it. Go back and watch your match when you're done. I personally do it. I mean, if you're the type to record your universe mode, I say look back at it. You don't have to watch the whole thing over again, but maybe skim through it. I know. What's up, bro? Why was the message restricted? I don't know why your other message was restricted, but okay. I can see your other message here. Like, why is Gabe? What's up, bro? Alright, cool. I'm basically kind of wrapping up because I didn't think I would finish in this amount of time. So, what I was saying, Gabe, to kind of backtrack here. I'm talking about the important, some of the steps you would take in putting together a match or whatever. Some of the things that I said the following. When you're putting together a match, for one, what is the purpose of it? What's the purpose? Why is this match happening? What is the reason for this match happening? And then step number 2 was, then what? Okay, match happened. Who is this match benefiting? Where are the people from here going to go? Like, are they going on to be in a different feud? Does this advance another feud? Are they going to compete? Are they using this match to gain momentum going into a pay-per-view they're going to be competing at? These 2 guys got a little bit of history and they're settling the score. Then what? What are you going to do next with these characters after you put them in a match? At least one of them. I understand both of them may not, have something big going on, which is fine. But what are you doing with one of them? At least know what you're doing with one character following this match. Is they going to continue to climb the ranks? Are they going to eventually turn face? Are they going to turn heel? Are they going to eventually challenge for a championship? Then what? Because you don't want to have a match that feels like it's a waste of the people's time, especially if they keep up with your series and say, hey, what about the match that these 2 guys had? And then it never get brought up again or never mentioned again, or neither one of the guys end up showing back up again. So, then what? Pacing with number 3. How is this match going to be paced? Is it going to be slower? Is it going to be faster? Is it going to be, we just going in guns blazing, or is this going to be more of a methodical approach? You know what I'm saying? That stuff you gotta, that you're thinking about when you're. To me, if I'm taking notes, these are the kind of stuff I'm kind of, thinking about here. Especially And I honestly need to start doing this, recording in order. That way I know, okay, this match was this way. Let me not make this match this way. You know what I mean? Or this match was 15 to 20 minutes long. Let's try to get this next match done in maybe 10 minutes. Because not every match needs to be 20 minutes long. Makes sense, right? So pacing, which kind of ties into number 4, the structure of the match on the show. Where is it being placed? Is it your co-main event? Is it your main event? Is it a world title match? Is it your opener? Is it your spot fest match? Where is it going to be? Because match placement and card structure is everything in terms of putting on, a show for the people to watch. We only got 2 people in here, so anyway. Yeah, structure. Where are they going to be placed? Where are they going to be positioned? All of that. All of that. Are you going to script this one? A bonus one. Are you going to script it or are you going to free flow it? Some people, they need a script. Some people want to use a script. Some people don't. I only have maybe a couple of things in mind if I'm big time. That's the thing I was talking about, pacing and ski, because it's like, okay, and I was really kind of talking about structure here. How you pace the match can really kind of, how you pace one match can really kind of affect how you pace everything else depending on where you put it. So if you have a co-main event that's like 20 minutes long, you might want to have a buffer match in the middle. If like one of your other big time matches are like 20 minutes long, you might want to have a buffer match in the middle to, kind of calm things down a bit before the main event. For instance, like I gave the example of Armageddon. I kicked it off with the Tables, Ladders, and Chairs match, and then ended with the 3 Stages of Hell match. Why? Because I wanted those 2 matches far away from each other. I did. I wanted those 2 matches far away from each other, and given the story and everything of the 3 Stages of Hell match, I felt that match should have main evented. But I also knew I had the world title match too, so I didn't want to do like a 20-minute world title match and then finish and then go immediately into a 35 something minutes, which by the way should have been cut down by 10 or so. That last fall should have been cut down by maybe 5 or 10 minutes, but whatever. And I didn't want to follow up a world title match or a world title match with like a 30-minute 3 Stages of Hell match, because that just would have went left to fatigue, especially with how long that match ended up going. So that's why I had Chaos versus Lucian in the middle as like a quick little 10-minute match, because I ain't trying to. You don't want to fatigue your audience. So yeah, pacing is key and structure is key. And so me, and like I said, a tip that I started doing, I'm recording. Hey, what's up, Cole? Alright, let me back up what I was saying again. Okay. Right, okay, let me back up. Okay. I said the following, you missed. Okay, let me run through my what I said again. Okay. Number 1, what's the purpose of the match? Then Cole, you were here for that. What was the purpose of having the match? Why is this match taking place on your show? That's number 1. Number 2. Okay. Then what? Meaning, the match happened. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do with these guys now? Okay, like what are you going to do with these guys now that the match is over? Is one of them challenging for a pay-per-view? One of them going to end up in a feud with somebody else because of something that happened during the match? Then what? What's the purpose of it? Know the then what of the match, meaning what's going to happen from here. Number 3 was pacing. That's what we were talking about. Number 3 was pacing. Is this match going to be longer? Is this match going to be short? Is this match going to go out guns blazing? Or is this match going to be more of a methodical approach? To tell the truth, I need to start doing some of those. It's true that kind of needs to start doing some of those. To tell you the honest truth. But anyways, pacing. That was number 3. Is it going to be fast? Is it going to be slow? Is it going to be long? This one's going to be a long match, or is it going to be a short match? And then number 3 tied into number 4 perfectly, because I was talking about the structure of the match on the show. And I was using Armageddon as an example. I didn't want to have Darren and Andrew Lance. Yep. So I was running it back for Gabe too, because he kind of just jumped in. I was kind of running it back for Gabe. But I was talking about structure, the importance of structure. Where is this match going to be located on your show? Like, I was using Armageddon as an example of, I didn't want to have Darren and Andrew Lance because they had like a 20-minute world title match, and then immediately follow that with like a 35-minute 3 Shades of Hell match. So that's why I had that little that break in the middle with Chaos and Lucian, because I didn't want to fatigue you guys. You don't want to fatigue your audience, or you at least try your best not to fatigue your audience. So yeah, that's basically the purpose I was saying. We're talking about the structure of the show. Is it going to be the opener, the closer, all that stuff? Structure. I'm sure you get that. I'm sure you get that. I'm sure you and some of the other people here get that. But this was really kind of for people who were, kind of brand new. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yep, the structure of it. Yeah, because depending on where you decide to place that match, it's gonna affect what you do, how the match before it plays and how the match after it plays. That's one of the things you kind of, especially on pay-per-views. That's the way I get real cautious about it on pay-per-views. Oh, and another thing, I just thought about this off the top of my head. Know the difference between when you're doing just a regular episode, when you're doing a special episode, and when you're doing a pay-per-view. I say that because some people like to blow the load on the regular show, and then by the time you get to the pay-per-view, it's like, well, this doesn't feel any special because we just had a bunch of epic matches leading up to the. Yours be ridiculous. I would cut that down a bit if I were you. I would work on that last year, the pacing, and maybe the structure is pretty fine. And I would just say for you, Cole, I would say pacing. To say the honest truth, I say pacing. Because your shows tend to be long because of the number of matches you have. And some matches go way too long. Right. So, I would say with you, I would work on pacing. Just particularly your pay-per-view pacing, because you already have like a lot of matches on your show, which is fine and all. Right. Yeah. Building a story. Yeah, I get that. Building a story, takes time. But I was saying, as far as the matches themselves go, know the difference. If you're doing a regular Raw, you can calm down a bit. If you're doing just a regular episode, calm down. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to lose your mind and have all these crazy epic matches on Raw and you got a pay-per-view coming up. You don't have to do all that. If you're maybe doing like a special episode, okay, I'll let you slide with that. At least maybe 1 or 2 matches, I'll let you slide with that on a special episode. Like AOA episode 40 for me. That Chaos Reigns match was huge. The 2 out of 3 Falls match was huge. So yeah, they kind of felt like pay-per-view style matches. But if you're doing just a regular Raw on a build-up to like a B show, like a Clash of Champions or whatever, calm down. You don't have to go crazy every week. You don't. You really, really don't. And because by the time you get to the pay-per-view, your audience is going to be looking. Your audience is going to do one of 2 things. They're going to either A, expect for you to do way more than you did on the episodes, which can either lead to a straight up crash and burn of your audience at maybe the halfway point if you don't pace it right, or B, they'll be disappointed by what they see because it's like, oh wow, what the heck, we saw all this cool stuff on Raw, I was expecting a lot more on the pay-per-view. You see what I mean? So, know the difference. If you're doing a special episode, by all means, if you want to go ham, go ham. If you know you got a pay-per-view coming up, and this is just a regular week of television for you, television, quote unquote, you can measure it. Regular show for you, then calm down. Okay, calm down. Don't go crazy. Don't go nuts. Relax. It's okay. You don't have to go mental. Last thing I said was review. Go back and review. If you're the type, if you record and edit your universe mode, then don't be afraid to go back and review. Indeed. Pacing on your shows, knowing the difference between a regular show, a pay-per-view, and all that goes a long way. Thanks for dropping in, Gabe. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it. Peace. Yeah, knowing the difference between whether you're on a pay-per-view, a regular show, or a special show goes a long way. Keep that stuff in mind whenever you're going forward here. It's a small thing because, and I get where it comes from because I was guilty of this too. I get where it comes from because it's like, oh, like you want to put on the best show possible for the people watching. Cool, I get that. I get that. You want to put on the best show for the people watching because, you know, of course, you want to keep your show there. I mean, especially if you already kind of got like a standard, like Cole, for you. And when I see a Raw or SmackDown, I'm expecting some good stuff. I'm expecting a couple bombshells to be dropped. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm expecting. And I get that. You know what I'm saying? I do get that. I get that when I watch Raw. I get that when I watch SmackDown. Or I try my best to keep up with it anyway. But when I do, that's what I get. You know what I'm saying? So, really does, yeah. They know the difference. Because of course people are gonna have their expectations. So I get it. You wanna put on the best show for the fans, but you wanna burn them out by that same process. And I was saying, if you record and edit your universe mode, then don't be afraid to go back and review. Sometimes, like before I start doing commentary, I go back and I watch one of my matches. Maybe one of my matches that I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know about this. I go back and watch it and I make sure. Or if I think, let me see if I could do that match better, I go back and try to do that match better. You know, so if you record and edit, don't be afraid to go back and review. Exactly. So, I'm saying don't be afraid to go back and review as well. You know, do your own stuff or... Yeah, man. Do it. I mean, you do yours live typically. You kind of, unfortunately, sometimes don't get that luxury. What happened to you just happened because it was live. But since you did say you're going to start, like, premiering yours, premiere some stuff more, go back and review. Back and review. And then if you're satisfied, then by all means, get your commentary face on, get your commentary voice on, and do your thing, and call the match, and call whatever you're going to call, and put it out there for the whole world to see. All of it. So when you got all that stuff together, you're going back and review, and you do all that, you think about all that mental stuff, you go back and review, you like what you do, then by all means, when you get your show together, get that commentary face on. That ain't the 2K commentary, thank you. Get your mic on, get your headset on, get your game face on, call your show and have a friggin' blast doing it. So keep thinking I'm seeing a different comment, but I always double check just to make sure I'm not missing anything. So, that's really it. Run it back one last time for good measures. Motive, then what? Pacing, structure, review. Those 5 things. And I had it be a live stream because that topic was so broad. I didn't feel like I was going to be able to cover it all in an allotted amount of time in a video. And plus I had it be open, live stream, that way it's an open discussion. That way you guys can jump in and chime in with, with that, with your stuff and whatever. Yeah. All 5. Yeah. Yeah, man. Stuff like that. I'm done here. And we did it in under an hour. Let's freaking go. I'm done here. So, Cole, anyone else that's here, if y'all got any tips that y'all would like to drop, any tips that y'all would like to drop just about Universe Mode in general, or about this, or any questions about, anything I said here, you have any tips, Universe Mode, plugs of anything, go ahead. This is the time for any open comments, any plugs, any self-plugs you want to do. This is the time for that. Go. Yep. Right, yep, Clash of Champions is this Sunday on Cold Train Channel. What time? What time? Sunday. What time is Clash of Champions? I'll hopefully be able to make it. I really do. Actually, I want to make these shows. I promise you, dude. I'm doing them at like 2 p.m. and I'm not even home yet. I'm not even back yet, to do it. So. Yeah. 1 p.m. Yep, I'm not even going to be home. I'm just going to be getting back. I'll jump in when I can. As far as that goes. But yeah, for those that are able to make it, swing by Coach Train Channel for Clash of Champions, And, people will easily be able to click on your channel because, chat replay and all that. So, 1 p.m. on Cold Train Channel is Clash of Champions. I don't think I have anyone else here as far as on my end. TNA is in the works. We are working on that. TNA is in the works. I don't know when exactly. That's going to be done. Cole, one other thing. I will try my best to do the Clash of Champions card today. You're going to be a little bit late to your own show? Okay. But are you premiering it? Are you premiering it or is it live? Or are you doing it like live stream? No, are you premiering it or are you doing it live? Okay. Alright, cool. Gonna be live, so you might be late to your own show then. Unprofessional. How unprofessional of you. Also, one other tip, be on time for your own show. I'm messing with you. Anyway, Why'd you go up there in the commentary booth, you 10 minutes late, like, come on, man, where you at, man? I had life stuff to do. Well, get in there. They'll be fussing him out when he's late. They'll be getting on me too when I'm late. You're like, hey, man, what you doing? Yeah, they be getting on me when I be showing up late too. You're like, man, what you doing? Get in that booth, man. I'm like, I'm already set up. I just gotta get going. Well, hurry up and get going then. Cool. Anyways, yeah, the Cole Train, some of that one TNA is in the works. Yeah. I can really say on my end, TNA is in the works. Keep your eyes out on Gabe's channel because he got his show, one of his bigger shows coming up soon. Grand Stage or something like that. Grand Stage, I think the show's called. So keep an eye out for Gabe because he's gonna be dropping something hopefully soon. Clash of Champions is this Sunday. I will hopefully have that match card to you, Cole. Anyway, that's it for me. So, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for dropping by. So, if you can, if you're on live, feel free to click the like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the other videos and streams on this channel. Spread the word about this channel and Cole Classic Champion things this Sunday at 1 p.m. Spread the word. Hold up. Also, you know no video? I'm waiting till Raw drops theirs first. Right. Thank you, Cole. Okay, after this stream, that will be the next thing I will do. That will be coming your way soon, too. Thank you for saying that. Okay, thank you. Right, when I'm finished here, I will do that. I got 2 things to do for you, basically, so. I got 2 things to do. Right. I got 2 things to do for you, basically. That, the Clash of Champion thing, and that. So I'll do the Clash of Champion thing is going to take longer for me to do. So I will do the other video first, and then I'll do the Clash of Champions. So there you go. So, those 2 things. Thanks for reminding me. Thank you so much for reminding me. Okay, so, if we're clear, thank you all for dropping by. If you can, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the videos and streams on the channel. Spread the word about this and Cole Train's channel at 1 o'clock at 1 p.m. And until the next time I see you guys, your boss, I will holla at you guys later.